Hey, it's Ben from Clinic Mastery. I've just had the opportunity to sit down with a member in our business academy. Her name is Marion Giddy. Marion joined us in October of 2016 and she's worked actively with us in our business academy since that time, getting some great results. I wanted to have a chat with her just to find out a little bit more about her story, the results she's got, and what she believes has been crucial to her success. So it's a great insight into the Business Academy, a great insight into what it takes to lead a clinic, to lead a team and get results in your clinic. I hope you enjoy.
Sure. Hi, my name is Marion Giddy. I am a speech pathologist. I've been a speech pathologist for about 9 years now, and I have owned my own clinic for about 7.
No, it's good. I'm always interested to know why people get into business, their own clinic, because it's a hard gig. It doesn't come without its challenges. So why did you start your own clinic 7 years ago?
To be honest, I was working as a contractor for 2 years previously, so had experience in private practice, and I wanted to move on from my previous position and really struggled to get a government job because I'd only worked in private practice and only in contracting as well. So meeting the key selection criteria was really tough. I couldn't even get an interview.
Wow.
And the practice that I was working in was, it was quite isolated. There was not really a lot of teamwork or any of those other quality sort of standards you need to meet. So while I felt my clinical experience was very good, I had to go back to my uni pracs to answer key selection criteria.
Wow.
And there came up an opportunity to not take over, but an existing clinic was closing down and leaving their lease, and the owner suggested that I start up where she had closed down, and I sort of thought, well, why not give it a go? Kind of felt very similar to what I was already doing, and I figured if I got any clients I couldn't treat, I'd refer them on.
Fantastic. I guess everyone has that moment, that leap of faith moment where they go, well, I'm going to have to make my own opportunity here and do it.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Did you ever think that you'd be in business? When you were working,
I didn't even, this is how ignorant I am. I didn't even realize I was starting a business when I was starting up as a contractor. I thought it was just what everybody did. Get an ATM, get a provider number, do all of these things, and then, anyway, it turns out it wasn't.
Well, you've done very well and continue to do very well, which is fantastic. I'm interested if we kind of fast track forward a couple of years and you decided to join the Clinic Mastery community. Why was it at that moment that you decided to get some help and to join the community? What was it that you needed help with?
Everything. I was really very, very frustrated. I felt like I'd been running this business for 5 and a bit years or so, and really just wasn't seeing it get to where I thought it could go, and it wasn't producing the return that you'd expect for the time that you put into it. And I kind of was at the point where I was thinking, I'll just give it up. I'll just stop. It's too hard. I can't do it. And then I thought, well, I actually went through the process of going, well, if I'm going to try and sell this business, I should probably try and get my accounting in order.
Great.
And at the time, I was referred to Clinic Mastery by a girl that was coming in and volunteering in the clinic, and her husband was a physio, and she told me about you, and I looked you up and downloaded the ebook and had a call with Daniel, and sort of went, yeah, this looks like it'll really work. I'd looked for other mentors before, but I just didn't find the right personality match for me.
Yep.
And I was drawn to Clinic Mastery just by the structure and accountability around it, and the no fluff side of it.
Straight to it. It's very fitting for you, I know. Straight to the point, which is the way that we like to do it. And it's something that we see a lot of, is that clinic owners get to a point where they're frustrated, and it's either do I get out, do the career change, or do I find someone to help? So what would be great is if we're able to share with some people who are tuning in here some of the things that you've experienced, some of the changes that you've had, and perhaps some of the catalysts or the things that have resulted in that change. So I'm interested in, and at the moment of shooting this, we're in mid-January 2018. We've done a review, as we always do, on a periodic basis, but to give context for people who are watching here, we're reviewing a period between October 2016, that was when you joined us, Marion, and December 2017, so about a month ago. So we've got a period of time there that we're looking at to give you a bit of context. We'll start with the patients per day, the number of patients that each practitioner would see per day, where it was and where it is, and the increase there. And perhaps what was it that resulted in the change that we're now seeing?
Sure. Well, we were seeing about 5 patients a day, half-an-hour appointments, and we had, on reflection, I think we'd really settled into a very comfortable, we'll sit here in our clinic and wait for people to come to us kind of mentality.
Yeah.
And at the same time, my team had grown a little bit as I'd had someone return from maternity leave and didn't let the other person go because I really liked her.
Great.
We had more practitioners, not as many clients as we had previously. And on average, it was about 5 a day, which was just obviously not working for us.
Yes.
From a profit point of view. We're now sitting around about 7 to 8. It varies still. So some practitioners are meeting it differently to others. And there's been a bit of a transition process with team members in and out and that kind of a thing. But what I think the biggest change for me leading a team is seeing is, initially when we were seeing 5 a day, when we'd reflect in our lunch, how's the day going? People go, I've got 5 people today, and that was the capacity for what we thought was a busy day. And, now in our daily lunch meetings, we sit there and say, we go around the room and talk about our client activity for the day. And, it's one of my favorite things to see them sit there and go, I had 12 booked in, but I'm down to 10 now.
Yes.
And
yes.
It just the perception of what's possible and what's normal and what's comfortable has changed. And that's really exciting because that's, I think, a really nice reflection of the systems that have allowed us to get to that point of being able to help that many people a day. And also it's nice looking at it now because there was so much resistance at the start. We couldn't possibly see more people. We're busy as it is. You can't ask us to do that. So it's been a really lovely journey to see that.
Fantastic. And just to give further context, that's across the board as an average for now you have 7 practitioners. That's correct? 6, 7?
6, I think.
Six practitioners. Yeah.
Part-time. So we have 4 treatment rooms and Yeah,
fantastic. And then that's obviously then resulted in the appointments per week increasing. Can you tell us a little bit more about, where you were, where you are now?
So appointments per week, I've got my stats down here.
Yeah.
We were helping about 83 appointments a week. At the moment, on average, it's around about 121.
Yep.
So that's
fantastic. Huge improvement. And that's, again, off the back of obviously seeing more patients per day. What would you say that has been perhaps maybe the one, amongst many things, the fact that now you can track these stats is pretty important, but perhaps the one kind of key tangible, practical, actionable item that you implemented into the system and into the clinic to get these sorts of improvements over this time? What would you say?
For us, it was getting an admin team.
Oh, wow.
So we didn't have one previously.
Yes.
So we were booking people half-an-hour appointments. We were leaving a little gap in between patients to be able to fix them up, get them out the door, and do some notes and see the next person. So we got a receptionist, which allowed us to book people back to back without leaving those gaps, and that's made a massive difference.
Fantastic. And it's a good point, because a lot of people say, well, I can't afford an admin, and they try to do it themselves. And what you're saying is, well, we actually found we saved ourselves that admin time so that we could actually do income generating and serve the patients, and it actually paid for itself.
Yeah. And that was exactly my thought. And, when I had the first call with Dan, he went through the numbers with me and showed me the difference, and showed me how an admin person can easily pay for themselves. For us, that's been the big key. There's been other systems that we've put in place to make it run a bit more smoothly and help with that back-to-back flow and all that sort of thing. But the ultimate change is not doing the admin ourselves.
Yes, absolutely. That's fantastic. A bit more sanity as well, I'd imagine.
And also a huge difference for the client experience as well, having that separation between the reception in our welcome area and what happens in the clinic rooms. That's been invaluable as a byproduct of this. And
yeah, wonderful. They can really be received and welcomed when they come along, the clients. So that's wonderful. At the end of the day then, obviously we're in business and we want to be able to grow profitably and sustainably. So are you able to tell us a little bit about what you've seen in terms of the revenue growth over that time in the clinic?
Yeah. So, our average revenue per patient has improved. Average revenue per week has also improved. I've got some figures down here that I can talk about. But for me, when I recently just looked at our accounting, I found that so far this financial year, we have already made the same as what we made in the previous financial year.
And so we're 6 months, so we're halfway in this financial year, and you've made the equivalent of a 12-month period.
In terms of profit. In terms of profit. In the bottom back pocket, bottom line.
Wow.
All the cliches. So, we can talk about percentages and average revenue and that kind of thing, but for me, I'm not a numbers person, and when I sat and compared it all, and I just went, that's huge, because that at the end of the day is, the clinic owner, that's my wage.
Definitely.
So.
Wow, congratulations. I think a testament to the work that you've put in, which is incredible. So wow. So you've in 6 months done what you did in 12 months currently. So onward and upward from here, which is amazing. Some of the things that obviously lead to that are making sure that the clients get their best recommendation, that they're booked appropriately, and they stay to that plan, that they retain to that plan, they get the outcome that they want. It's not the most flashiest stuff, the sexiest stuff, the stuff you talk a lot about, but the did not arrive appointment stats and the cancellation rates can really hurt that bottom line, because it's stuff that you should expect is there and then it doesn't happen. So can you just tell us in terms of maybe some percentages around did not arrive and cancellations at the moment?
So previously our did not arrives, they've decreased by 50%, basically. And our cancellations have decreased by 40%.
Wow. And so you've obviously set up, clients understand very clearly the importance of coming in for their appointments on time and giving the appropriate notice if they do need to change.
Yeah. And that was, again, implementing a late notice fee was really challenging for all of us as a team. We don't like to punish people. And we're working with kids. So there's a lot of things that, pop up on the day for kids. Kids get sick, things happen and that kind of thing. So we've always had a lot of excuses as to why not to charge, a late notice fee. And, but it's, we've seen a really dramatic difference in people actually attending their appointments or being able to reschedule them to another practitioner as well. in the meantime, which has been fantastic.
Fantastic. Absolutely. And that's the key. It's just that those sorts of things can really, really hurt you. And there's no need for it to happen if we've got some systems there. And we're always refining these. They're always a WIP, work in progress. So, and speaking of time, obviously as a business owner, like you were saying, you're kind of frustrated. You weren't really sure if this was going to succeed. You put a lot of effort in. And obviously there's that financial reward that you hope for, and now you're starting to really reap the fruits and benefits of. But there's also that time investment, the importance of having a life, having family and friends time, sociable outside. Can you tell us a little bit about your time that you invested and now what your time looks like as a clinic owner?
Yes. So previously I was just working clinically. And it was 5.5 days a week. So I was doing about a 50-hour week clinically. Wow. And anything business related happened other times.
Yes.
So I'm surprised that I was cranky.
Yep. Know the feeling.
At the moment, my clinical hours are about 15, maybe a little bit more every now and again, but it's quite structured when they happen.
Wow.
So yeah. I've actually got time in the days to work on my business, and that has been what's allowed me to follow and put these systems in place to help us reach the goals that we've had.
Wow.
It's been fantastic.
Amazing. So essentially you've been able to add all this growth to your clinic, and on the other end of the scale, you've decreased probably by 60 or 70% your actual time consulting. So you've actually been able to grow and decrease your actual input into the clinic on a daily basis. Well done. That's what systems can do,
Right. Yeah.
Which is awesome. What are some of the other changes? We've obviously covered some specifics there of what's happened in the line items, the profit and loss and so forth. But what are the other changes that you've probably noticed around the clinic and maybe just you as a clinic owner?
Yeah. The biggest change that, like for me, clinic owner is the numbers side of things. So I prior to Clinic Mastery, I didn't even do my own books. I didn't understand a thing about them, and I felt like I was just riding the business. I had no control over what was going to happen or where we would be. It was just random. Crossing our fingers and hoping. And now, 18 months later or nearly, I feel like now I have a really clear map of, I know exactly where we are, to the day, to today, basically. I know what we need to be. I can project forward and see the trends and understand my profit and loss statement myself and use that to guide my budgeting and make decisions then around the clinic, and that's life-changing for me. I feel like I'm finally in control and I can see the potential, and I can also see opportunities for how I can change things and what we need to do to grow and to achieve our goals and help more people. So
amazing.
For me, that's been the biggest difference. For the team, we've implemented quarterly and daily meetings and fortnightly webinars as well. So we've got this really lovely regular cycle of connecting with each other. We've got some new communication systems like Slack that we've been using with our team, and all of those things working together just help us feel really connected, really social, and keep everybody on the same page. And yeah, they've been, like, we've always had a really lovely team, but or each of those elements has just strengthened it, I think. Yeah.
And on that team element, when you're creating this kind of volume of change and speed of change, what have you found to be the most important thing about getting your team on board? Because a lot of clinic owners will say, well, it's all well and good to do in isolation. If it was just me, it'd be easier. But what would you credit as the reason that you've been able to have your team on board and engaged and aligned with the direction that you've taken?
I think, bringing it back to why you're implementing the change, what's the reason behind it, I think, and starting with that. And then if you can sort of link that in with the goals that you're all trying to get to, you know, we're all trying to help more people, we're all trying to have a better job, we're all trying to go in the same direction. And if then the system that you're implementing is going to be a vehicle to get there, then I sort of go, let's just try it, and then we'll reflect on it. And if it doesn't work, which it usually does,
Yes.
we'll change it. But, you know, encouraging that flexibility, I think, is really important. And if you can find one or two people in the team that are quick on the uptake of things, you know, they're the innovators, they like to try things, then they can help as well with getting systems to move around the team for some of the other team members that don't like change as much. And what I've found is when people don't like change, their insight is really valuable into what some of the potential challenges might be in the system and that kind of thing. So listening and understanding, and then finding ways, you know, to help them come on board is really important. So
fantastic. So you've kind of given a bit more responsibility for those really gung-ho people in your team, and then really empathize and sort the feedback of the team members who are perhaps a little bit resistant to begin with, to refine
like really valued their feedback as well. So just because somebody's resistant to a system doesn't mean they're doing it for the fun of it. There's a reason why they're not liking the change. And I found it really useful to listen to that and try and see it from their mind. And what I've found is that the therapists have usually had a different perspective on the client's best experience or best version of care than I have. And we get to then debate that and talk about whether or not that difference of opinion is important enough to stop the system going ahead and that kind of thing. So we get to have a bit of robust discussion. But then ultimately that leads to both sides understanding both sides of the story. So.
Absolutely. And what you've done very well is, you know, always had that outcome front and center of, you know, this is about doing it for the client at the end of the day. And we're not married to the strategy or the way that we do it, but we're open to feedback and change. So amazing work. No, it's been incredible. If you're able to share, I guess, your journey as part of the Business Academy and some of the, you know, the mentoring, the support, resources, systems, dashboards that you mentioned to track stuff, and just give someone who's watching this a bit of an insight, an insider's view of what's it like. You remember, what's this Business Academy actually like?
So the Business Academy is, like, for me, it was a full dive-in immersive experience. I started the program and basically just went, okay, if I've decided that these guys, I'm going to let them tell me what to do, then I'm going to do everything they say, because, you know, that's the commitment that I made at the start. I will do what I'm told. I've decided I respect your opinion and your system, so let's take it on board. And that's even when I've been feeling challenged by the accountability and the different things to put in place, I've always come back to that. Just do what you're told. Trust that they know better and get on with it. And the Business Academy was tough. It was, you know, a 4-month process of, you know, weekly webinars and content to move through. So there was a lot of watching videos at night, watching videos at work, and then making action lists and plans and trying to implement as many things as I could along the way. I was really determined to kind of get the most benefit out of it that I could. And so it was pretty full on. Best part about it was how systemized it is. That really appeals to my nature. And, you know, you get drip fed what you need when you need it, which is fantastic. So while you have access to this incredible content, at the same time you get somebody working with you exactly where your business is at, with weekly accountability phone calls. And, you know, each week after those phone calls, I'd have this action list of what I was going to do, and I was determined that I would always do everything by the next week. So I think that's what has helped make a lot of change in the business. And look, but the Business Academy was great. You've got all these different platforms for connecting with other people. And for me as a speechy, it was really nice. It is really nice to connect with physios and podiatrists and osteos and people that think a little bit differently about healthcare than, just kind of, I didn't want to just do things the way that we've always done it because that's what every other speechy does. I wanted to sort of look at it with a broader viewpoint, and I think that this has helped me do that.
Yeah, amazing. It's good to get some different perspectives within the industry and, jumping on, say, the Slack community now and seeing what other people are doing. You literally get to go, oh, that's a good idea. I might just put that in the database and use it later, which is fantastic. And I know you've worked very closely with Shane Davis, who's been phenomenal with you. Can you share a little bit of an insight as to, you mentioned the accountability there being challenging at times. Can you just give us a bit of an insight into the work that you've done with Shane, especially?
Yeah. So, what have we done? We've done everything. We've covered everything. I think initially in the Business Academy, I think Shane was just helping me set up some dashboards, understand my KPIs, and try and get an idea of what the numbers were in my business, how many people we were even seeing, and that kind of a thing. Straight away, we ditched our practice management system because we found that it wasn't going to be able to give us the data that we need to. It needed to, and so we switched over to Clinico and then eventually switched to using Xero as well. And so Shane's been guiding me on how to make those changes and how to understand what's on the screen in front of me and use the information and put it into dashboards and spreadsheets that I can, first of all, know how to operate and then also understand and interpret. Shane's been a fantastic guide and mentor in that process. He's very calm, very thoughtful, very thorough, but also very firm in what he's expecting you to do. So he's just been perfect for me. So
fantastic. So I guess really to kind of summarize things from, that point a couple of years ago where you had hit that block, you're frustrated not knowing how to grow or how to get out kind of thing, that to be able to have these systems and dashboards to actually understand what moves the needle, what actually creates change, and have live running dashboards, understanding the numbers so you can literally make change and influence them on a daily basis, has been really, I guess, profound in the growth. We've seen the stats we just talked about, how much they've changed. They're always a work in progress. And having that kind of all the systems there for you to plug and play through the Business Academy, and then the accountability to keep you honest and make sure you follow through, week to week, fortnight on fortnight, has really led to some great change for you.
Absolutely. I mean, it's having somebody who has been there before and they've mapped it out and gone, this is what I know is going to make a change for you. They give you the system straight away. And, my girls always laugh because they're like, what's this thing about feet here? And I'm like, I don't know. Don't worry about it. Just do this part of it, but it's, you get something ready to go straight away that you can use on the day. You can literally print it off and go, here, we'll try this. And and then you get to measure the results, and you're shown how to measure the results and see why did it work, what worked about it, what changed. And the results are pretty clear.
And just to speak to that, obviously people are, if they're thinking of joining the Business Academy, no doubt they're getting the help and support. There's an investment not only in money, but time, and that's most important. People are often wondering, well, what sort of return am I going to get on both fronts? In your personal experience, how would you answer that question? Is it worthwhile?
Is it worthwhile? Let me try and do some mental maths really quickly.
I've put you on the spot here.
This is why I joined Clinic Master.
Yeah, of course.
It's not my strong point. The investment that we've made at the start, I actually had family members donate a little bit of money to me just to help me take that first step, even though it wasn't a huge commitment compared to other business courses. We were at that point where I didn't really have anything. And I remember kind of making this payment and thinking, oh, this is the last. This is the end of this. If this doesn't work, nothing's going to.
Yeah.
18 months later, look, we have invested. We've spent money month by month into the Clinic Mastery program, and I can't do maths fast enough to give you what the return on investment has been, but it's, I don't know, in the tens of thousands more than what we initially spent.
Yes, yes.
As I said, I've doubled my income.
Yes.
Based on a small investment at the start, which felt big at the time, and now I look back and go, what was I thinking?
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. So, I mean, really, no doubt, and we always guarantee that you'll get your money back at a minimum, and if you do, that's kind of like failure point. But you've definitely gone above and beyond in terms of the investment financially. Obviously, we spoke about your time. You've got that back in spades now to invest into the business. But yeah, certainly that return on investment financially has been worthwhile.
It's been massive. Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow.
And like that kind of stuff, that's life-changing for business owners. So, and not even just in the financial sense. I mean, while that is as well, it helps us run sustainable businesses that can help lots of people. But it also helps us create the life that you want and the mental headspace that you want as a business owner as well. I think to where like I am now, and I reflect back 18 months and I just think, oh my, why didn't I do it earlier? Why didn't I, find something sooner? So, but I'm so glad I found you guys, because this system works really, really well.
Yeah.
So.
And you've been an incredible student. I don't want anyone watching this to think that you just show up and it happens, because you've put in the yards. You've put in the yards. It's not for the faint-hearted, as you said. There's a lot of work, a lot of accountability that's put in play. But if you're willing to show up and play full out, the results are there to be had. So, congratulations on what you've done so far. And, it's always a work in progress. So we're excited to see how the clinic moves forward, how your team grows and flourishes, how you do as well. But just want to say thank you so much for sharing your insight and being so open and honest about, your journey, that it isn't always roses and butterflies, and also being practical in, here's some results I've got. It's a work in progress, and these are the systems that I've been able to implement. So thank you so much.
That's a pleasure. Thank you, guys.
If you're interested in joining us in the next enrollment for the Business Academy, head on over to our website in the page titled Business Academy, and you can check out what's involved. We only have a select few applications who join us each enrollment, and so it's best for us to probably jump on a call and get to meet one another to find out whether we've got what you're looking for and whether you'd be a good fit inside the Business Academy. As you can see from Marion's story, it's not for the faint-hearted. So we expect that you will jump on board and immerse yourself much like Marion did. If that sounds like you, if you think that you might need this right now for your clinic, for you to grow, get in contact with us. We'd love to have a chat. It starts there. We'll do an assessment and work out whether you are suitable and whether we can actually help you in your clinic growth. We look forward to speaking to you soon.